Folks, if you're on my channel one rental at a time, you know we talk to traditional lenders, we talk to non-QM. We have the one and only Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage here. We're gonna have a conversation about the non-QM space. How you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Do me a favor, get that marketing thing out of the way so I can get into a topic that I'm hearing about.
Again, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
Yeah, so I want to talk about something that I'm hearing via the non-QM space, right? Obviously, I'm an accredited investor. I borrow lots of money. I have lots of contacts in the industry, and I am hearing the non-QM space kind of I'm going to call it tighten up, much like it did in March of 2020, right? There was a time in March of
Yes.
2020 where non-QM basically shut down for 3 or 4 weeks. It's like, and they were killing loans at the end, and they were doing all these things. So I'm hearing about some non-QM lenders who have tried to sell their their latest batch of mortgages and
Hmm.
being unsuccessful, right? So I'm going to
Right.
summarize how I understand the non-QM space. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And then
Okay.
actually we'll probably talk about why velocity is different. But at the end, non-QM lenders get access to capital.
Right.
They originate mortgages to eat up that capital. Then as that capital gets consumed, they have to package all the loans and sell it to Wall Street and make a spread, thus
Correct.
replenishing their capital stack so they can loan again.
Correct.
I am hearing about some non-QM lenders not being able to profitably sell their latest batch. And I even heard about one
Right.
shutting down new business
Right.
for all of Q1. Dude, all of Q1, we're in January. What is going
Right.
on in the non-QM space? Is it tightening up like I'm hearing, or is this just a one-off?
I would imagine there's going to be some additional pain moving forward. I would think that on the secondary market is basically where the issues lie. Sorry, phone calls coming through. Let me make sure I put this on. In case, as far as the non-QM space, we've been pretty proactive, I believe, with pricing our loans at a certain rate to where we can foresee the profitability. Because by the time our business model is built kind of the same way, but we also get our funds in a different fashion. But with that being
Right.
said, we're pretty usually pretty good about understanding what's ahead,
Mhm.
a couple steps ahead, so that we're not kind of
Right.
stuck in the muck. But yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. So I would imagine there's going to be some additional lenders out there, kind of going through the same stuff, because they're a lot of times
Yeah.
trying to stay competitive and gobbling up market share or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be, or
Yeah.
just trying to get production going. But
Anytime there's a market shift and interest rate moves around and liquidity dries up, some of this is that the M2 money supply is shrinking and liquidity is just drying up and the it's all changing.
right,
And if you're a non-QM operator who went in and tried to, I'm going to say, do skinny deals to get market share, and then you try to exit 45 days later and there's no buyers at your price point, you're going to
right,
lose money. And if you're
right.
operating with overhead, it's a problem. And wasn't it Sprout Mortgage like
Mhm.
6 months ago that just went out of business like overnight, seemingly? Do I remember that right?
Oh yeah, I mean, literally, they made a phone call like on a Thursday, firing everybody. I think there's some potential. I don't. I mean, I'm not an attorney. You can look it up, but I think there's some lawsuits still out. As far as people's pay, that they're
Commissions and all that, I'm sure. Yeah.
right. Everything got
Yeah.
frozen and everything else. So, in any case, yeah, it can sometimes be a pretty violent,
Yeah.
kind of
Sudden.
event. Right.
Yeah.
Like literally, no
Yeah.
prior
So
notice whatsoever.
yeah, one of the things, again, I think the non-QM space, much like the real estate industry, is going to go through a thinning of the herd. The strong will get stronger. The weak will just go do something else.
Right.
And Velocity Mortgage is going to be around, right? Publicly traded, just a different animal, right? You're not relying on one rich guy or one rich fund to give you
Right.
your capital stack, which they could yank it in a minute's notice. So, folks, if you
Mhm.
have non-QM lenders, I suggest reaching out to Stephen Dow as a backup. You don't want to be
Right.
caught like March, where you
Mhm.
have a deal in escrow, your EMD is hard, and you
Right.
lose it because you can't close. Stephen, if they wanted to reach out and just see if you could help them, how would they do that?
Yeah, again, just to my email, sdao@velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, just please put the acronym ORAAT, which stands for one rental at a time, so that we can kind of bypass the firewall. Body the email, maybe a brief description, what you're looking for. Property address would be great, at least city and state, so that I know if I can lend there, your mid FICO score, and the best phone number to reach you at. And I'll typically be in touch within 24, 48 hours.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.